Hello and welcome into the PHNX Bets Daily Podcast presented by the DraftKings Sportsbook app, America's #1 sportsbook app. Don't forget to hit that like button, subscribe wherever you get your podcasts, leave us a 5-star review. I'm Johnny Venerable, joined by Captain Caveman himself in his man cave, Mr. Derek. And you told me I butchered your last name.
You did. It's remember it's like tortilla.
Montoya.
Montilla.
Mr. Derek Montilla here on PHNX Bets Daily. I love blowing him shit because we don't get him often, but when we do, it's a very special day. Shane O, as you know, is in Las Vegas for the start of the NBA Summer League, so he's holding it down there. So I get to talk a little baseball in NFL, but a little baseball with the man himself that covers our beloved PHNX Diamondbacks. What is the good word, Derek?
Well, the Diamondbacks once again had a close game that they lost last night against the Colorado Rockies, and people are screaming for Mark Melancon to be kind of removed from his role in the 9th inning over it, but don't see that happening, unfortunately. This team still is a lot of fun to watch. It's just lately, especially against this Rockies team, they haven't had much luck late in games.
Somebody encapsulated it perfectly on Twitter to me that they're not the best, clearly, but hey, we are not also the worst. We are
by no means
better than the worst. I kind of bit the dust yesterday. I took the Diamondback money line. That did not work out for me. I think Shane and I both bet on the Diamondbacks yesterday. Here are my picks here from yesterday. I had D-backs money line. That was a disaster. I had Braves beating the Cardinals. Cardinals won in extras. I did hit the over in the Yankee Red Sox game. I believe that went to 11 runs total. But Garrett Cole ended up getting that W even after giving up, upwards of, I think, 2 or 3 runs. Did not look particularly sharp, but did get the W there. So 2 for 2 on the day. But I'm going to be honest with you, Derek. My bread and butter is the NFL. I've been courted into consistently betting on the NBA. I know I am below 500 on betting on baseball this year. And so I thought it'd be a perfect opportunity to bring you on and tell us what are some teams that we should look for, team futures in the second half as it relates to making the playoffs, regular season wins, and then I'll cross-reference that with some odds here on DraftKings.
So there's a couple of teams I like consistently to bet on this year. I really like the Milwaukee Brewers. I think that they have a solid offense. They've been able to put up a lot of runs consistently, so that's somebody you can count on. And their bullpen is pretty solid. Obviously, the Yankees are another team that you can just count on to put a lot of runs on the board. They've been having some problems a little bit here and there lately, but they're still a really dominant team in this league. And obviously the Dodgers, as much as I hate to do that, they've been, they've had some troubles at times with some of, the lesser teams in baseball, but we're starting to see them win the series and the games that they should. And again, their offense is picking up. Mookie Betts is just demolishing the baseball, considering he's a leadoff hitter. It doesn't make any sense at all, but he's just an incredible talent. Houston, another team like today, they're playing the Oakland A's. I mean, all of these teams kind of have a good matchup as far as today's bets go. So, these are teams that in the second half, I expect to pick up more steam and, kind of bully some of the teams that have a below 500 record. The Mets, again, they're another team to look out for in the second half as well.
You think so?
Against their own division.
Here's the thing about the Mets that I find interesting. Everybody, Mets fans on Twitter, just waiting for that other shoe to drop and the season to collapse.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
They are the favorite right now via DraftKings to win the NL East. But the Braves at plus 175. They've been playing good baseball recently. Marcell Ozuna, those guys have been heating up for them offensively. I would not mind sprinkle a little coin on that. I could definitely see the Mets falling off and just making a wild card.
For sure.
Just kind of how inconsistent that Mets team has been since the first 6 weeks of the season when they were the best team in the National League. The Brewers overwhelmingly are the favorites to win the Central at minus 285. The Cardinals have really underachieved, if you ask me. Their pitching just isn't there. They got cheap in the offseason, didn't add a legitimate arm to that rotation, and Milwaukee, ho-hum, is going to win another division title. Dodgers minus 650 to win the NL West as of right now. But Derek, when I look at their team and the infrastructure, I see them making the playoffs, of course, and winning that division. I do not see a lengthy postseason run with the lapses in their bullpen. The starting pitching is not as consistent. I do feel like, and I'm going to ask you this, is the NL kind of up for grabs right now?
I think so. I
Yeah.
think, like you said, what we've seen, especially we've seen the Dodgers struggle at times against teams that they have no business struggling against. So they've shown that they have that weakness, that they didn't have last year or in the past. They seemed unbeatable at times during the regular season, and then they still didn't go on to win the World Series. It's one of those things. I think the Dodgers have learned from that. I think the Dodgers do realize that all they really have to do is get into the playoffs in order for them to, be successful. The race for the NL West, I don't think is going to be between them and the Giants this year. It's obviously going to be between them and the Padres. Padres losing personnel. Jurickson Profar lost yesterday in a really ugly, nasty collision. So thoughts out to him. Hope he can recover from that, because the collision was nasty, but then the watching him walk off the field and collapse was honestly, Johnny, it brought a tear to my eye. Like, it was very scary to see an athlete like that, just collapse suddenly on the field. So I wish him the best.
Yeah, absolutely. The Padres are just, for whatever reason, that team that they can't get everything synced right at the right time.
Right.
When the
Right.
pitching is going, the offense sputters, they have a bunch of injuries. So be interesting to see. You can bet on all of that, including the D-backs plus, I think, 700 odds to make the postseason. So if you want to flush some money down the toilet, you can do that at DraftKings. I would not recommend you doing it with your first deposit, though. If you're new to DraftKings, using that DraftKings Sportsbook app, you get a risk-free bet, Derek, up to $1,000 right now. That's promo code PHNX only at DraftKings Sportsbook. Minimum age and eligibility restrictions apply. See show notes for details. We want to thank everybody that came out to Four Peaks 8th Street Pub last night for our NHL draft party, as the Coyotes seemingly cleaned up, as Derek was rocking one of our Coyote shirts from the PHNX merchandise locker, trading up, getting 2 top 12 picks in the process. Check out all that great quality on the ground from the NHL draft. We've got our crew in, I believe, Montreal, Lee and company, doing a fantastic job. And Four Peaks was a big part of that last night.
I loved how aggressive they were in that draft, Johnny. They had a clear-cut plan as far as when their timeline is and, what they wanted to do. They traded a bunch of their draft picks to move up. They traded draft picks from next year to get more draft picks this year. So they're really trying, it looks like, to expedite their timeline as far as when this team is going to be competitive again. And I really like that, because they have seemed kind of without a direction at times in the last few seasons.
Absolutely. Again, Four Peaks must be 21 and older. Enjoy responsibly. The official beer of PHNX. And we've got more fun events planned at Four Peaks Pub on 8th Street in the future. Keep it locked in here on PHNX. All right, so we talked a little MLB action. I'm going to share you my baby team futures for the National Football League. For those of you who don't know, training camp kicks off in less than 3 weeks, and then boom, we hit it hard until February. And right now, a couple division winners that I like sneakily. This is one of my favorite picks of the year, Derek, and I'm going to ride this. I'm going to put money on it preseason. I'll keep my word. The Detroit Lions to win the NFC North. They have not won the division. I do not remember. They are plus 1,000 to win the NFC North. The Vikings are regressing. The Packers don't have Devontae Adams. I just love everything I'm hearing from Detroit and company. Listen, if you're on this show with me consistently enough, Shane is all about, like, oh, how can I make even money? I take big swings, and plus 1,000, you throw $10 on that. That's a good time, if you ask me. What are your thoughts on the Detroit Lions here in 2022? Are you buying them?
Well, I guess my question would be, what have they done that makes you think that they can win that division? Like, what is the key thing for you that puts them over the top?
They've got a plus offensive line that's only gotten better. They've got a bunch of young players, I think, on the cusp of breaking out. Their tight end Hawkinson's a really good player. DeAndre Swift is a good player. Jared Goff, second year under Dan Campbell. I think he'll be more at ease in that community with Detroit. Their defense is what it is, but I think they're going to try to run the ball and then get after the passer with Aiden Hutchinson. And then I'd be remiss if I didn't say, like, I can't wait to watch Jameson Williams. I thought he was the best receiver in this year's draft. The Lions got him I think at a discount as he fell into the teens and they traded up for him. So I don't like, it's not like I expect the Lions to win the North, but after Green Bay's just horrific offseason and all the weird shit going on with Aaron Rodgers,
Sure.
I'm fine with that. The
You
Arizona
just think
Cardinals.
it's that perfect time of the regression of the rest of the division and
Yeah.
Detroit
Because if
kind of
they're ever
being
going to
young
win
and
it,
hungry.
like now's the time, right?
Yeah. Yeah,
Um,
for sure.
the NFC West, heavily favored for the Rams to win at plus 125. You can get the Cardinals at plus 400, the Seahawks plus 1,600. So if you're not a buyer in Drew Lock and Geno Smith, I don't know what to tell you there. So I'm not sure if I love the Cardinals at plus 400. That's something that I'll have to revisit after watching them in the preseason. But another team I can tell you right now, definitively, I love right now, the LA Chargers at plus 220 to win the AFC West, the toughest division in football. We teased it on the header, Derek. I'm a big fan of Justin Herbert. I'm a big fan of their offense and the skill players that they have. And I think they've had two of the best consecutive off seasons that I've seen teams have. They've re-solidified their offensive line. I think the Chiefs are in for a rude awakening. It's not like I don't think they'll make the playoffs, but you don't just replace a Tyreek Hill overnight. They have the Cardinals week 1. So I think part of my heartstrings is telling me let's just get a couple early losses for the Chiefs. What do you think about the AFC West this year?
I think you broke the hearts of a lot of DNVR fans right now, I think is what's going on, because I think they're already ready to win the division with Russell Wilson under center. But yeah, no, I mean, the one thing about the Chargers is that they've been one of those teams that have been in every game that they play in. It seems like they don't have a lot of losses where they weren't competitive. So I feel like that's one of those things that a couple of key plays here and there could have, made them a bigger winner in the past than they've been. But yeah, you're right. I think that could be a sneaky good team that has been, pretty solidified by some of their recent moves.
My last favorite future bet, it's a specialty bet in light of the Baker Mayfield trade. Which QB will start week 1 for the Carolina Panthers? Baker Mayfield is minus 1,200. You can get Sam Darnold at plus 500. And that's just, let's say Baker Mayfield gets injured. Let's say, he's not picking things up as fast. I mean, it'd be a disaster if Darnold started, but I don't think plus 500 is certainly not out of the question. I think that's a tasty little nugget here, a specialty nugget on DraftKings.
I like that. I like that because for everything you said, like, I don't even feel like it's his job just going in there just because they traded for him. Right. I mean, yeah, it's like you said, it takes a while for you to pick up the plays. And if for some reason he's not doing it, I mean, he wasn't, it's not like he was one of the best quarterbacks in the league by any stretch of the imagination. And Darnold was a high draft pick for the Panthers, and they've believed in him. So, I mean, I think for what you said, there's so many variables that could keep Mayfield from starting in week 1 that seems like something that's an easy, at least an easy $10 bet, or plus on DraftKings. I mean, make yourself a little money, throw it out there.
I don't love Carolina in the least, but I do love all their gross props as it relates to uncertainty with their team. Speaking of gross, it was a little less gross today without Mr. Shane Diefenbach stinking up the joint. But we love Shane-O. We love Derek. Derek, thanks so much for hopping on with us today.
I appreciate it, man. No problem. Thank you for having me.
Keep it locked in to PHNX Sports on YouTube. We've got a continuation of the NHL draft. You can check out Craig Morgan's work among our many talented peers at gophnx.com. We've got Jesse in the building, finally, now in Phoenix. So excited about that. Rocking with Derek on PHNX Diamondbacks. And then, of course, the ongoing saga as it relates to Kevin Durant. Will he become a Phoenix Suns here in the coming weeks? You can check that at more at gophnx.com. In the meantime, for PHNX Bets Daily Podcast, be sure to like, subscribe, leave us a 5-star review wherever you get your podcast, and we will see you on Monday. Thanks, everybody. Peace.